Our next question is from a listener named Isaac. And he says, I've always had this idea that I'm more of a follower than a leader. How can I become a better leader?
Isaac, great question. I think a lot of times we get in the pattern of thinking that we're not leaders. And I will say, every single person is a leader. There are times when you do follow. I follow people, but my leadership skills allow me to pick out the people who I should be following. And guess what? Those leaders had another person that they followed, and those leaders had a person that they followed. So being a good leader is one, delegating, that you're not going to be great at everything. There's things that I'm great at, there's things that I'm terrible at, and the things that I'm terrible at, I want to delegate those to a person that's better than me at that. I can pick up some skill from them, I can learn from them a little bit, but I'm following their lead because of the leadership skills that I've developed to realize that I need to put my ego aside and get help in the areas that I'm weak in. So I'd first start by saying, Isaac, you are a leader. And anyone listening, you are a leader. Now it's just finding out, how do you allow yourself to believe that? What are your leadership skills in, or where are you leading yourself? I think the hardest thing to do is to lead yourself, right? But the fact that you took the time to send in this question, that you're listening to this podcast, by default, that automatically makes you a leader. Because if you were a follower, you would have waited for someone else to submit that question.
Yeah.
So that is just one small example, without actually knowing who you are, of how you are a leader. And I'm sure if we sat down and talked, I could point out 30 or 50 or 100 or 200 different ways that you are a leader. Anything that you would add in?
Well, I think too, like, the question almost implies some sort of stereotype to following and leading, when I think, and you said this, but maybe in just different words, like, the best leaders are also followers, but in order to be a leader, you need to have followers too. And so I think of, we here at Hope Not Nope, we value servant-based leadership, which means you're following almost, like you're getting behind the pack in order to help push them forward too. And so there's like, you could look at that and be like, well, if you're in the back, that means you're following. Well, no, but yes, but no. And so I think, like, don't stereotype following and leading, because I think that they really do go hand in hand, and both are of great value. But I wonder if he's asking this question in the sense of, like, maybe he feels like he's not a leader because he just kind of puts himself down or something like that. And I just want, we were just encouraging Bill to enjoy his life and that he's worthy of a great life. I say, you're worthy of being a great leader and a great follower. And that is not like, being a follower, being a leader, those are not negative things. Those are great and phenomenal things. And the world is a better place with more people like you. And so be encouraged and know that, this world needs followers and leaders.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And two quotes kind of came to mind. That one, to know where things are going, you have to know where they came from. So if you want to lead someone down a new direction, you have to understand, where did this stuff come from, right? So I spent so much time in classic exercise science books, Sports Illustrated articles from 1950, 1940, like these old articles, just to see, where did this come from? Like, where did this idea, this concept begin? And to do that, I have to follow what the other leaders have done before me in order to then know, okay, I want to go this way. And the other thing to think about too is that what determines if a structure comes down determines how a structure went up. So if you haven't practiced, if you haven't established your values, if you don't know what your values are, if you don't have at least an idea of what your vision is, and you just say, I'm going to lead by authority, I'm just going to lead by screaming and demanding respect, that's going to get you to the top fast. It will. Like, hands down, that is the fastest way to get to the top.
It'll get you noticed.
It'll get you noticed. Be controversial. Yell in people's faces. Tell them that they're wrong. Call them terrible names. It'll get you to go viral. It will create all these things. It'll get you to the top. But guess what? You skipped all of these steps to get there. So the higher that you go, the more critics are going to come at you. And you haven't developed that system to be able to cope with those things because you don't know your foundation. If you haven't built the foundation, that tower that you built, it's going to come crumbling down. It's going to come back down to the ground. So what I would say, Isaac, is that if you're feeling like you're a follower, you're not feeling like a leader, maybe the best place to start is to build that foundation. What are your values? What is it that you want to set out to achieve? What is your action step to do so? Like, let's say you want to become the best physical therapist in the world. Like, one, we have to get a little bit more specific because what does that mean? And then two, what have the other greats done before you? What did they do that made them great? They all studied the foundation. They all got their fundamentals down so incredibly well that then they're able to kind of go a different direction or this direction, but it's because they worked on the foundation. So if you're struggling, you want to become a leader, establish your values, work on your foundation, get your fundamentals down, work on your foundation so that when that tower is built, it's stable.
Well, and I think when you're working on your foundation too, you become more confident in your foundation, and it becomes such a second nature to you that, like, yes, you continue to work on it, but then you also, like, you're working on it is just you living because it's become so second nature. I think of, and I think you also mentioned this, but just to add on to it, make a list of maybe 5, maybe 10 leaders that you value, or go print out their picture and put it in your room, in your journal, in your car, like wherever, but put the faces or the names of these leaders that you want to follow because of their foundation. The first person that came to my mind is Mother Teresa. I don't care who you are. And actually, there's this controversy that, like, when Mother Teresa was alive, a lot of people didn't like her, which just blows my mind because it's Mother Teresa. Like, are you kidding me? But, like, Mother Teresa would go into the streets and kiss people and cure them because of, like, she loved them so much that, like, basically her presence could help cure the illnesses that they were going to. She would bathe people who hadn't even been looked at because people just wanted to brush by them. If her order of sisters and order of missionaries got, like, shoes, she would be the person who took the last pair of shoes, even though she was in charge of every single person in the organization. She would take the last pair of shoes. So often she wouldn't even wear shoes that were her size. And she did it because she loved and because she served. And so, you know, maybe I would put Mother Teresa in my starting 5 of leaders of all time, but, like, make your starting 5 and put them in a place where you can see them on a regular basis, because their virtues, and maybe list the virtues and the characteristics that you love about them, because their virtues and characteristics are the foundation that you also want to lay, and it'll help you to remember on your bad days if you catch a glimpse of Mother Teresa in the corner of, like, you know, I'm struggling, I need to be intentional, I need to build my foundation. Mother Teresa was a servant-based leader. I need to do better today. How can I go and love someone, maybe someone who's poor, maybe someone who is in need, whatever, like, how can I do that and go do that?
It's a great action step. And I want to add on to that, like, that was beautifully said. Like, very, very well done.
Thank you.
But second, one very simple, easy action step you can do this week: eaters eat last. If you're at an office and there's an office party, instead of being the first one to rush in, grab 5 slices of pizza, all the wings, let everyone else go before you. You want to step it up, go to the front, hand out plates to everyone, and then get behind them and say, you know what? I'll take the middle slice of the sheet pizza that nobody wants because it's super cheesy and soggy and kind of gross. Sorry if you like that piece, but I do not like that piece. I like me a corner piece with nice strong crust on each side.
I like the middle piece.
You like the middle piece. So for me, it'd be, let me get in that line and I'll take whatever piece is left because I'm putting you guys before me. That is leadership. Leadership is not, you suck, you don't know anything, come follow me. It's, let me put my ego aside, let me put my needs aside, and let me support you guys in a way that you've never felt supported before.
I love that. Oh, that's awesome. So, simply said, leaders eat last.